Hey everybody, it's Mike here. Today we're going to look at Octopath Traveler 2. Really excited to review this one because Octopath Traveler 1 was one of my favorite turn-based RPGs. In this review, I'm going to be comparing it a lot to Octopath Traveler 1, talking about the different characters and different game mechanics. Now, Octopath Traveler 2, first and foremost, I need to say, as this game is quite a grind, okay? So it's not like Pokemon where you have shared XP across your whole party. You'll have 4 party members that will be in use at any given time, and the rest of your party will be at the tavern. So you won't be able to share the XP at any point, which results in a lot of grinding. And some people are against that. I think this game has a lot of value to it. In terms of the graphics, just a beautiful 16-bit art design. They just took it to a whole other level in Octopath Traveler 2. Now, Octopath Traveler 2 is just like Octopath Traveler 1, where you want to take this game in little chunks. You don't want to try to beat the whole game in a few sittings, just because of the nature of the game. For example, I think this game's perfect for the Nintendo Switch when you're on the go. You can tackle like a chapter here and there. And it's awesome for, when you're traveling on a plane or, on a bus. It's a great portable experience. That being said, the PC and next gen version of this game just have a better FPS, and the graphics look a lot more crisp. But I'm not going to go ahead and say that it's that much of a difference. You're still going to get a great game on the Nintendo Switch version. Now, a huge improvement from Octopath Traveler 1 was the amount of dialogue they added. So you're going to find a lot of these main cutscenes are going to be voice acted, which is great. I remember in the original Octopath Traveler, a lot of the cutscenes we just have to read through them. Well, it's a huge improvement. Not to mention the characters are just awesome. I'm just going to briefly touch up on the different characters, some of the powers, and a little bit on the different storylines. So really interesting storylines for each character. Obviously you have your storylines that you will connect more with, but in my case, I really liked Oswald's storyline, just the whole idea of starting off in a prison, breaking out, and getting revenge. But just like Cyrus, the scholar, I started off with Oswald, so he's also a scholar. He starts off 2,000 days into a prison sentence where he's accused of murdering his wife and his daughter. And then just like in Octopath Traveler 1, you have the path actions, so each character can interact with NPCs in a different way. In Oswald's case, he can scrutinize and mug people. And they also have something called latent powers. These are pretty much your special abilities. Like I said, in Oswald's case, you can he can attack multiple enemies, and with a full power gauge, he can focus his power on one enemy. So I really like that. Then you got Agnia. Oh, she's the dancer in this game, and she's on a quest to become the world's most famous entertainer. And just like Oswald, Agnia has some path actions. So one of them is Allure, which allows you to bring people in town to fight alongside you in battle. And at nighttime, her path action is Entreat, which allows you to acquire items from people from town, which you wouldn't able to acquire otherwise. And her latent power is called Altogether now. This pretty much spreads all the effects of a single target skill to all enemies. And then you have Casti. She's the apothecary in this game. She's the amnesiac, typical storyline trope. So she wakes up not remembering anything, and then she's picked up by a ship with a very nice crew, and they bring her to a town suffering from an unknown illness, and it goes from there. So she specializes in healing. Some of her path actions include Inquiring. That's her daytime ability. This allows you to get information from people at town, and it can help you advance through quests, and you get information that you normally wouldn't get. And her nighttime path action is called Soothe, and Soothe works kind of like a sleep ability, so this will put someone to sleep, and it can get rid of characters that are working as obstacles, and this will open up new areas. Her latent power is Every Last Drop, and it allows you to concoct without using any materials. And the concoct ability allows you to mix ingredients to create various effects in battle. And then there's Hikaru, another one of my favorites. He's introduced as like the crown prince of the kingdom of Ku. He's trained to be a warrior, and he's known for his gentle heart. And then in a turn of events, he and his kingdom are betrayed by his brother, and it all goes from there. And just like Olberic from Octopath Traveler 1, he's your warrior, so like your tank and damage dealer, a key component of your party. I ended up using him a lot. Now another great part of Hikari is path action is challenge, so this allows you to duel people, and if you win, they're knocked unconscious. And this also allows you to learn new skills by claiming victory in these duels. And then you have the hunter Ochette, and her storyline starts off with her tribe trying to make peace with another group, and then there's a calamity coming called the Night of the Scarlet Moon, and to save her home she needs to go on a quest to find out anyone who can help her stop this event from happening. And then one of my favorite parts of Ochette is her talent. So her talent is capture and prepare. Capture allows you to capture beasts, and you can use them in battle, kind of like almost like Pokemon, right? So it's kind of cool. And then prepare turns them into items like consumables. And very similar to Casty's Soothe and Hikari's Challenge, Ochette's daytime path actions provoke. This helps eliminate obstacles by using one of your tamed creatures to duel one of the NPCs. But keep in mind though, if you lose one of these duels, your reputation will suffer. Ochette's nighttime path action is called Befriend, where you can use items to gain affinity from NPCs and get them to follow you. And then you have Partitio, the merchant. This was one of my least favorite storylines. Not that it was particularly bad, I just didn't really get too into it. And one of his goals is to end world poverty. Partitio's storyline starts off in a dusty town called Rush. He sees this once promising town become this ghost town, and he knows he needs to find his fortune elsewhere, while also making sure no one goes poor ever again. So his path actions include purchase. This helps you get items from NPCs you wouldn't be able to obtain otherwise, and you can also hire people for the right coin, and this will allow NPCs to follow you. Another cool thing about Partitio is his talent called Business Partners. So you actually gain benefits from the different NPCs you've hired to help. So I thought that was kind of cool. Then we have the Cleric Taminos. I don't know if you remember Octopath Traveler 1, but Ophelia's storyline was extremely boring, so I was really hoping for a better storyline for the Cleric in this one. And although there's a little bit of improvement, I found this one kind of boring. It wasn't my favorite storyline. It wasn't horrible. I will definitely say it's better than Ophelia's though. So his storyline starts off with the tragedy that happens in the church and involves him searching for answers. And then his daytime path action is guide. It allows people to guide and follow you. And then his nighttime path action is coerce. So it allows you to force information out of people by breaking them into battle. And you have to be appropriate level for this to work, mind you. One of the strongest points of Taminos is his latent power. So this is called Judgment. This allows you to lower your enemy's shield points with any attack. So very useful. And last but certainly not least, we have Throne. This is definitely one of my favorite storylines from Octopath Traveler 2. She's a woman with a really dark past, and you know, she's always forced to kill to survive, and she wants to find a way out of this bloodstained life. She has some really good skills too. She can steal as one of her path actions. This will help you get items you wouldn't normally be able to acquire. You can also ambush NPCs, and if you win, they're knocked unconscious. Then you got the talent Blessings in Darkness. It grants all allies attribute raising effect at the start of the battle, and her latent power is Leave No Trace. It allows her to act twice in a single turn. And another thing you got to give kudos to the sequel to Octopath Traveler is they could have just simply used the classes from the original game, but no, they kind of switched up each class. Now, the original Octopath Traveler allowed you to gain secondary job classes through shrines and, you know, some secret ones. Now, instead, Octopath Traveler 2 uses a license mechanic, and certain guilds give out different licenses for different jobs, and completing quests for them will help you unlock these licenses. There's also some secondary jobs that you can pick up, with a few being available surprisingly early. Now, a huge area they expanded on Octopath Traveler 1 is the nighttime mechanic, so there's a day and night cycle. And this changes the people you come across in the village, so they'll be doing different tasks and activities depending on the time of the day or night. Path actions will change depending on the time of the day, and believe it or not, the different type of monsters will spawn depending if it's night or day. So I really like this. Another cool addition in Octopath Traveler 2 is boat travel. So as you know, in Octopath Traveler 1, you're kind of restricted to running everywhere, and now you can go to different areas of the map, and once you get the boat, you'd be surprised on how much the map opens up in the different nooks and crannies that you haven't visited before. So really enjoyed this. Another thing we definitely have to give Octopath Traveler 2 credit for is just the great audio and the great music. You know, every town is going to have a certain feel, and they just do a great job matching the type of town with the music they play. It really gets you immersed in the different environments, and they just couldn't do a better job at this. So just like Octopath Traveler 1, masterpiece in terms of audio. Now, a cool addition in Octopath Traveler 2, like I said, they added some new classes and jobs. So, you know, you're already familiar with like the Warrior, Hunter, and Scholar and Dancer. So this game introduces three. The Inventory, which is a job where you can gain skills by finding items. And then there's the Arcanist, which uses dark and light magic. And then there is the Conjurer. This is a job that focuses on elemental damage. And one major change they added in Octopath Traveler 2 is the types of decision making. So you have to determine which characters you want to tag along with you, and every decision you make will have consequences on who is traveling with you. So and each traveler brings these different latent powers, like I mentioned, and these latent powers are key at the end game to deal that extra damage that you need to get through those tough bosses. So you have to really be strategic on who you take along on each trip. And I know I touched up on this a bit before, but another huge improvement from Octopath Traveler 2 is just the graphics. Square Enix is just getting really good at this 2D HD thing, and you can really tell. A huge word of advice for this game: don't go into a level 20 area at level 18 or 19. You want to be at least level 20. It's not like some other RPGs we played. If anything, you want to be over leveled, so maybe like a level 21, hence the grinding involved. That's another thing you need to consider. And anyone who doesn't prepare themselves properly for a boss fight, you're kind of risking yourself from losing half an hour of your time, because believe it or not, some of these boss fights can last upwards to half an hour. So if you're not prepared and you're going in there, you're just going to end up wasting your time. Now, in terms of combat, this is obviously a turn-based RPG, so you'll have different characters in your party, and they'll deal certain types of damage depending on the weapons and spells they have. And each enemy has a weakness that you'll break if you use certain type of elements. You can also boost your attacks. Now, a huge complaint from Octopath Traveler 1 was how divided the characters are. In this game, your 8 travelers actually feel a lot more connected. There's a lot more travel banter. Usually it's between the 4 characters you have in your party. Overall, I believe Octopath Traveler 2 is one of the most impressive JRPGs of 2023, even a contender of the Game of the Year. You're going to have a lot of fun with this. Any fan of JRPGs, you probably already have this. and if you played Octopath Traveler 1, again, you probably already bought this. It's just a great experience. And for someone who's up for the challenge and the time commitment, you're really going to get a lot out of this game. You're going to get hundreds of hours of gameplay, and it's all very challenging. So if you're looking for a challenging RPG, this game is really going to deliver in terms of value. I'm going to give this an 8 out of 10, and like I said, this is probably going to be one of the most impressive JRPGs of this year, and it's a must-buy if you don't already have it. And yeah, that's my review for this one. If you like this type of review, please consider checking out my channel and subscribing. We'll see you on the next one. Bye.